2024. So on February 9th, we will be having our new moon taking place at 20 degrees 41 minutes in Aquarius energy. So we have a little bit to unpack here. Let's dive in. First of all, I think it's very important to mention the fact that this particular new moon in Aquarius is in a perfect alignment with the celebration of the Chinese Lunar New Year. And of course, we're moving into cycle 9 in that particular belief system. And because there is a huge chunk of the collective that honors and celebrates this particular, let's call it notable restart in a particular calendar system, this overlapping with the focus, the attention on the new moon in Aquarius here, especially in the Western world, this is going to be a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, pivot point of change, of transformation. So let's just kind of understand that we are closing the door on the new moon Capricorn cycle that we kicked off January 11th. That's when we anchored in new timelines, when we anchored in new karmic chapters that came with the new version of self. The whole Capricorn lunar cycle was about identifying where it is that we've outgrown certain foundations, certain relationship dynamics, certain structures, where it is that now we're feeling blocked, trapped in a particular way. And because that Capricorn cycle included a full moon illumination with that Leo energy, that is when we had a major change of heart. Why? Because that Capricorn cycle was about us thinking about our long-term vision, our long-term goals, but something was off, something had shifted, something had changed. We realized at a certain point that we were continuing to pour into the old vision, the old ideas, the old dreams that the old version of self had. And because there was a major change of heart, because we're kind of feeling this existential dread, because we're kind of feeling suffocated by the realm and the reality that we had previously built, the whole point of the Capricorn cycle was to illuminate the challenges, the obstacles, the blockages, preventing us from moving forward. Focus on restrictions. Why? Because the Aquarius energy that we are now going to be moving into, that we are in Aquarius season, but the new moon in Aquarius is what actually anchors in, triggers, and activates the Aquarius energy in its totality. The Aquarius energy comes after the Capricorn energy because the Aquarius energy, we're able to step out of the physical body, step out of the physical environment, step out of being so grounded into the discomfort of the physical form and act as the observer. Again, the Aquarius energy is the highest form of our intellect. We are able to emotionally detach, kind of zip out of our physical bodies, observe ourselves, our environment, the constructs of what we've built as a third party in the upper part of the corner of the room, let's call it, like we're watching ourselves. From this particular angle, we see the blockages, the obstacles, the challenges, the restrictions very clearly. And now, because we are aligned with the highest form of our intellect, we're able to come up with a path, a plan, a strategy on how we're going to break free, break through from the constructs holding us back. This is a point in time where we're able to see the bigger path, the bigger plan, the bigger vision, what needs to happen, so to speak, in order to collapse the realm and the reality that the old version of self has created, in order for us to accelerate and elevate to the highest timeline that is now available to us, because we've had this profound awakening, this profound aha moment on what needs to change. And again, that's kind of playing off of the full moon in Leo that we just had a couple of weeks ago, where there was a major pivot point in change of heart. This is now a pivot point, change of mind, change of plans, change of the vision, of the goal, of the dream. So I think it is a very interesting time to remind you that this new moon in Aquarius is essentially when the universe not only presses play again for us to actually move forward, but hits that fast forward button as well. So we're moving into a time warp. We're moving into an accelerated point of time where things are going to happen very quickly, very fast. We also have to take into consideration that this is the first moon event that we are having while all planets are now direct. And they will continue to be direct until we move into the new astrological calendar in March with that Aries season, equinox energy, reset, resurrection point. So from now until, let's say, about April, which technically is when we dive into eclipse season, mind you, we are all systems go. And this Aquarius energy, because it's about connecting the dots and making connections within ourselves, within the world around us, seeing the aha moments pop off, seeing where new ideas, new paths, new plans are now emerging for us, this is going to be a very interesting time to expect the unexpected. Why do I say that, you may ask? Good question. Let me give you this. Uranus, the great awakener who likes to destabilize us, shake things up, throw lightning bolts of change at us, is the ruler of not only Aquarius season that we're in, but over this new moon in Aquarius as well. If you downloaded the moon guide, which I'm going to recommend you do, you will know that Aquarius energy is actually ruled over by two different parties. Uranus is the modern day ruler, but Mr. Saturn, Lord of Karma himself, he's the traditional ruler. So where Saturn wants to rely on what is tried, tested, and true, keep us in the particular structures, foundations, routines, aspects that are just repetitive, not really growing, just keeping us kind of, restricted in these particular confines. The Uranian energy wants to break us out of that. We need to do things differently. We have to be progressive. We have to innovate. We can't just stick with what is old, tried, tested, and true. We have to improve. We have to do things better. And so to have these very conflicting, let's call them rulerships, working together in order to create change, this is exactly why we had to be sitting in the hold, in the pause that we've been sitting in, really feeling the funk, really feeling the discomfort of our physical environments, our physical forms, of the path, of the plans, of the dreams, of the vision that the old self had built that now we don't resonate with because we're not those versions of self. So essentially, we had to sit in the darkness, sit in the funk, if you will, in order to truly appreciate the fact that we can't do this anymore. We can't do it for the long term. Therefore, we have to make a change. What is that change? Well, this is the point when we're going to start gaining that clarity. There is a lot going on. It affects the central nervous system. Expect nervousness, expect jitteriness, expect that whole central nervous system pop off. Again, listen to the ascension forecast to understand how this energy manifests in the physical form. But just understand as well that the Aquarius energy is the collective consciousness. Okay, why is that important? Because there is an awakening happening on a collective level. Why is that happening? Well, spoiler alert, when we move into Pisces season and we have the new moon in Pisces, that is the beginning of the end as far as this world, this reality goes. This year of 2024 is the year of 8 death, endings, and closures in order for a rebirth, a resurrection, a true transformation to take place. And we are going through this year because we are essentially restarting reality as we know it. If you want to call it New Earth, that's great, in 2025. And so there's a lot of unpacking, a lot of destabilization, a lot of collapsing to the old structures, the old foundations that are needed in order for us to see from the greater, grander picture how we can restore the power, the control back to the people. And you do that with a level of awareness, with information. And this is why we're going through a very particular time right now where information is now coming out, really putting people in a situation to challenge their own beliefs, to have a realization, to have a change in perspective, in understanding that, of course, is going to be the trigger point, the activation point for this particular domino effect to start falling. So this is going to be a sense of heaviness as much as it is a sense of lightness. Darkness versus light, heaviness versus light, good versus bad, everything in between. What we need to realize is we have to stop taking things to extreme and we have to start kind of walking the middle ground. So where we've been in a breakdown, now we're going to shift to the breakthrough. Where we've been blocked, now we're going to set ourselves free. Where we've been confused, now we are going to gain clarity. This is not going to happen at the snap of the fingers, although for some of us it could. But from now, this new moon in Aquarius to the first quarter moon that we will be having in about a week's time, this is a new level of observation, of awareness, of visualization, of thinking, of planning, of strategizing. We will find ourselves at an action point, a decision point there at the first quarter moon. That is when we are actually going to see a lot of the dots being connected, a lot of the aha moments, the awakenings that we're currently having under this new moon in Aquarius, where we're going to see those downloads actually make sense. So if you've downloaded your moon guide, and again, I'm going to really recommend that you do that. If you don't do the moon guide, then at least download your February zodiac forecast so that you know where this particular energy is manifesting in your life. But you will see the elemental energy profile. And again, this time we are kind of par and par, this time earth and air. So earth and air are the furthest elements apart, which means that the physical realm, earth, that is what needs to be changed. Our routines, our relationships, what we do in the run of our day, there's something in the physical realm, the environment that we've created that is now acting more like a prison than it is providing us with stability. We feel trapped. So in that, the air element is providing the insight, the intuition, the observations, the highest form of our intellect to really get into problem solver mode and figure out a path, a plan, a strategy on how it is that we're going to resolve, repair some of these issues. When you download the moon guide, you will also see the different aspects at play. And here's an interesting thing that I really felt I should talk about. First of all, if you are over on my Patreon and you've been a part of Astro Class, then you would know that there are specific formations that take place either in events in the sky or in your own particular birth chart that have significant value. The chart that is kind of being formed under this new moon in Aquarius is a bundle pattern, which means that there's a huge amount of focus, concentrated energy on one particular, let's call it, area of life. This area of life is clashing with Uranus, who just happens to be in his rulership over this Aquarius season and this new moon in Aquarius. Well, Uranus, the ruler, the modern day ruler of this particular event, is over in Taurus energy, Earth energy. Another reason why the problems that we're currently facing, feeling trapped and feeling like we have outgrown our physical realm, is about the physical realm and reality in which we've already created, Earth energy. That's what it's all about. So here we're going to have this clash of energy, this concentrated, intense, tunnel vision, shock to the system, if you will, that will forever change the landscape of our physical realm. So this is going to trigger, again, a lot of central nervous system activations, a lot of nervousness, a lot of impulses, let's say, a lot of sudden thoughts, sudden emotions, constantly shifting, constantly changing. But most of all, there's going to be this warrior type of rebellion that wants to come out to play. Now, again, we're not in a time of action. We're in a time of just observation. We need to be aware of some of the things that are happening here. But we do need to use that warrior type of rebellion to cultivate that fire, that spark, that flame that we need to keep lit within us in order to actually see the path, the plan, the strategy through. So it's not just about what happens to us or what we're feeling or what we're experiencing under this particular new moon. It's the energy that we now have to sustain to get us to that first quarter moon cycle, which of course is going to provide an action point, a decision point, a choice point. That is where the awareness that we are currently trying to be aware of under this new moon in Aquarius, of the change, of the pivot point, of the areas that we have to do better and improve on, when they will actually be realized. And then we're going to be able to do something about it. So this particular moon event is going to be back-to-back epiphanies, aha moments, really challenging the old, challenging your old thoughts, your old ideas, the old methods, the old ways of doing things. There is something that is coming to a completion point, and we are shifting very, very quickly, very, very quickly, very unexpectedly in a brand new path, in a brand new direction. So this is definitely going to be a major pivot point of the change, of the transformation that we are now going to be taking action upon here in the physical realm. And again, from now until the new astrological calendar pops off, when Aries season begins late March, from now until then, this is about processing, sorting through what needs to stay, what needs to go, especially in our mental plane, especially with our plans, our dreams, our visions, and overall, really listening to that heart space activation that many of us had under that full moon in Leo, that again, we are now following through with. Now we have to get our heart, the Leo energy, and our head, the highest form of our intellect, the observer type of part of our intellect, the Aquarius energy, on the same page before we introduce the karmic, spiritual, intuitive side that will come when we dive into Pisces season, and then we take action in our physical realms, in our physical forms, when we dive into the new astrological calendar.